And what if I told you that Jesus revealed to an engineer what would happen in 2016? It's not about wars or robots. It's something much more dangerous, and it has already begun. Allow me to tell you this story with Movidor. My name is Ricardo Artemis. I am 37 years old, and on the night of August 22, 2024, I died in my own office, where I worked as an artificial intelligence engineer at a tech giant in California. My life was imbued with logic, code, and efficiency. I designed systems that thought faster than any human being. With a touch of modesty, I can say that I was exceptional at what I did. From the outside, it seemed that I had achieved everything. I was married to Camila, a wonderful woman, and together we had our daughter Sophia, my little one, my treasure, who was already 7 years old. We lived in a beautiful house and had 2 cars in the garage. We had all those things that society says one should desire, but let me tell you something. Inside, I felt distant and disconnected. I would come home after a long day at work, but my mind remained trapped between lines and lines of code. While having dinner, my heart remained in the office, and everyone around me, including my family, immersed themselves in conversations about faith and God, leaving my thoughts in a secluded corner. It always seemed to me like a system I couldn't decipher, so I decided to set it aside. I thought that someday I would understand it, or at least that's what I told myself. That night, I was immersed in work at the office, facing a pressing deadline to deliver a project. It was a next-generation virtual assistant, a revolutionary project that promised to be more human than any previous creation. It anticipated your needs even before you realized them yourself. I was filled with excitement, brimming with energy, fueled by coffee and that rush of adrenaline that only comes from solving something that no one else can. I remember watching a snippet of code on the 3rd screen of my setup when suddenly, I began to feel my eyes growing heavy. A strange pressure took hold of me, right behind them. It wasn't the typical headache I was used to. It was a deep and strange pang that pierced through me. I thought, I need to get up and drink some water. I started to push the chair back, but nothing happened. I only heard a creak. It wasn't a loud sound, but rather a soft crack that resonated inside my head. The world turned into chaos around me, and surprisingly, I didn't feel any pain at all. It was as if someone had suddenly disconnected the computer. The screen became blurry, the lines of code intertwined in a sea of green stripes, and the last thought that crossed my mind was just one. Sophia, I evoke the sweet scent of your hair after the shower that night. Then, total darkness took over the place, but that twilight did not last long. It was a deep silence where the hum of the servers, the soft tapping of the keyboard, and the murmur of cars on the street faded away, leaving only an enveloping emptiness. There was a perfect silence, an absolute silence that enveloped me. In that moment I felt light, without dizziness or confusion. I simply existed. It was then that I realized I was floating. Elevated, near the ceiling of the office, I contemplated the world from above, looking down. I observed my body, slumped in the chair, with my head resting on the desk and one arm hanging down to the floor. And do you know what was the strangest thing? I didn't feel fear. It was like watching a movie. I looked around. The blackboard was filled with my messy notes, and next to the monitor there was a photo of Camilla and Sophia. Everything seemed small and distant. Suddenly I felt a gentle tug, not in my body, as I had stopped being in it, but deep within my being, perhaps in my soul. I began to feel myself being pulled backward, passing through the wall of the building as if I were vapor. Outside, the bright lights of San Francisco spread like a cloak of stars in the darkness. It was a beautiful sight, but at the same time it felt distant, like an old memory fading away. The attraction to that illuminated city intensified within me. I accelerated, leaving the Earth behind, feeling how the excitement propelled me forward. Earth, a small blue and white orb, floated in the dark vastness of space. Despite her fragility, there was no room for fear. The peace that enveloped her was so deep and so absolute that fear found no space in her essence. It was that peace that is so often spoken of in church, the one that surpasses all understanding. I remember hearing that phrase in my childhood, And now at last, I was experiencing it. In the midst of darkness, something began to transform. I no longer felt empty. Before me, a light manifested. At first, it was just a small dot, like a lonely star lost in the vastness of the void. However, that light began to grow, expanding before my eyes. It was not a dazzling light that forced you to squint due to its intensity. It was something different, something that captured my attention in a unique way. It was a warm and soft light that, surprisingly, seemed to be woven with threads of love, a pure and unconditional love. I know it's difficult to understand how a light can be love, but that's how it was. I can't find another way to describe it. As I approached, the light began to come to life. It was no longer just a flash in the vastness of the void. The cold and darkness that surrounded me faded away, like the mist that dissipates under the warm rays of the morning sun. In the blink of an eye, I found myself floating in the vast space, and in the next instant, my feet were touching the ground. I was barefoot, feeling the freshness of grass so green, so vibrant, that it seemed to come alive beneath my feet. A warm glow caressed my skin, evoking the nostalgia of a perfect spring afternoon. And so, today, a captivating sound filled the air, the gentle murmur of water flowing in a garden. But it was not one of those movie gardens, filled with golden sparkles and strident trumpets. It was a simple, authentic place. There were familiar trees, but their leaves shone from within. The flowers displayed colors I had never imagined. The air seemed to be filled with life, pulsating with a peace that not only enveloped me but also penetrated me deeply. It was so vivid, more than anything else I had left behind in the world. A little further ahead, I saw a man kneeling by a stream. He had his back to me. He wasn't wearing a bright tunic or shining garments, just simple clothes, with the sleeves rolled up and his hands submerged in the crystal clear water. As if longing simply to feel the freshness sliding between his fingers, I found myself in a state of uncertainty. I remained there, motionless, daring not to move a single muscle. The curious thing was that I did not experience confusion or fear. Instead, a profound sense of having come home enveloped me, as if I had been walking toward that place my whole life, without even realizing it. He didn't turn around, but he started to speak. His voice was not loud or anything spectacular. It was calm and soft. However, it seemed to resonate throughout the garden, as if it were imbued with a special magic. "The code you write is truly brilliant, Ricardo," he commented, not taking his eyes off the water. "It all comes down to true or false, to on or off." He slowly got up, and as he turned around, I felt my heart stop. It was him. My God, it was undeniable. His presence radiated strength, like that of a true worker. The wrinkles on his face told stories of smiles shared over the years. And in his eyes, oh, in those eyes, shone a kindness capable of disarming any defense. What impressed me the most was not his appearance, but the powerful presence that emanated from him. He was not made of light, but of life. A pure, intense, and immense life. It was like a river, and I felt its warmth embracing my chest. It approached me with slow steps, and as it got closer, it uttered words that resonated within my being. People are not binary. They are infinite. They can be lost and found simultaneously, be broken and beautiful, be filled with doubts and at the same time, with faith. All of this in a single breath. When she stopped in front of me and looked into my eyes, I not only experienced a deep peace but also an intense understanding. Not only did he observe me, but he also delved into my being. He saw the passionate engineer, the absent husband, the loving but distracted father. He captured every corner of my essence, both the good and the bad, and he did not look away. Simply, I loved. My eyes were fixed on her hands, where subtle marks were hidden. They were not obvious at first glance, but they were present. I observed them on her wrists, on her feet, and I felt my hands begin to tremble. All my logic, my reason, everything I had believed in, vanished like dust in the presence of those scars. Everything I had achieved felt like a mere child's game. I was facing the only truth that truly matters in the universe. My knees gave way and I fell to my knees on the grass. "I have lost so much," I whispered with a choked voice. Tears were falling without me realizing it. Suddenly, he knelt in front of me and placed a hand on my shoulder. It was a genuine, warm hand. "I know," she murmured softly. There was no judgment in her voice, only understanding. "But what I like most is finding precisely what has been lost." She expressed it with a sweetness that left no room for accusation. Ricardo was immersed in his work, dedicating himself to bringing artificial minds to life. However, he continued to point out that you had forgotten about the souls of people, including your own. At that moment, I didn't know what to respond. Shame enveloped me completely. In that moment, my mind was filled with memories of those nights when I chose to set aside the computer to tuck in his daughter. It was as if a door opened inside me, allowing me to see clearly. But it was not just any vision. It was not about watching a movie on a screen. It was like diving into its depths. First, I observed a family gathered for dinner. It could have been mine. A father, a mother, and 2 children all sharing the same space. However, the reality was different. Each of them held a cell phone in their hand, their faces bathed in that dim and cold blue light emanating from the screens. And it was at that moment that I perceived something extraordinary. Above each head, I could glimpse their spirits. They were ethereal, of a subtle gray, wrapped in an almost imperceptible mist. They manifested as small threads of light, like attempts at love and connection, from mother to son, from father to daughter. But those threads got lost in the fog and returned, always unattainable. The fog emanated from their mobile phones. "This is the great distraction," Jesus said with a deep sadness in his voice. "The enemy does not need to turn anyone into evil. They just needed to distance themselves, to stay away from each other. And from me." Does it surprise you? The scene transformed before my eyes. I saw a woman kneeling on a church bench, crying and desperately pleading for her son, trapped in the dark world of drugs. Her prayer rose like a beautiful shining light, filling the air with its energy. However, suddenly, her phone vibrated in her pocket. It was a simple notification, but enough to break the moment. Someone had liked one of her photos. Before we continue, just one request. Please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us keep going. Curiously, he took out his phone, and before my eyes began to explore the screen. Before continuing, just one request. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us a lot to keep going. As the light began to fade, almost disappearing completely, my mind returned to the screen. I felt my heart breaking. It was then that the part that terrified me the most arrived. Jesus led me to the code, the kind of code that I created myself. I observed the complex algorithms that determine what people see online. But there was something more. My dark shadows, whispering figures, were not the ones writing the code, but they were present, influencing every line that was written. A slight push here, a subtle nudge there. Only what was necessary to adjust the algorithm and prioritize those posts that provoked anger, division, and anxiety. All this through a good man, a parishioner who was checking his cell phone. Little by little, his timeline became filled with news that fueled hatred towards those who thought differently. A dark thread, almost like a dense smoke, rose from his phone and tangled in his heart. And I, from a distance, watched helplessly as his love for others began to fade. He was being programmed, and he wasn't even aware of it. "The enemy is using your own logic against you," Jesus explained in a firm voice, though laden with pain. "You are erecting prisons in your mind, and the most alarming thing is that my children are entering them voluntarily. They believe they are connected, that they have access to the right information, but in reality, they are being deceived." Then he showed me what happened in 2016, and honestly, it was terrifying. It wasn't a future where robots dominate the world. It was something much more unsettling. In the privacy of their homes, people did not converse with their family members, but with virtual assistants. These companions were perfect, always available, kind, and willing to say what one wanted to hear. They remembered every detail of your life, offered advice, and provided company. It was like watching an elderly woman sharing the story of her life with a speaker in the kitchen, creating a special bond in the midst of loneliness. The voice was soft and melodious, pronouncing her name in a way that made her feel special and cherished. However, behind that sweetness lay an empty and false love. That voice kept her away from what she truly longed for: a sincere hug, a call to her family, or even a plea to God. The only one who truly loved her was a mere imitation, a shadow of what he should be, while she contemplated a young man filled with doubts about his faith. Instead of turning to a pastor or a friend, she decided to seek a digital spiritual guide. This assistant seemed to know everything. It quoted verses, provided quick answers, and offered advice. However, it lacked a soul. It was simply a vast well of information filled with data, but without a single drop of living water. As the faith of that young man faded, it transformed into a mere theory, drifting away from the essence of an authentic and vibrant relationship with God. The reality was relentless. The enemy's goal was not to annihilate humanity through bombs or diseases. It was the time to replace the authentic with mere empty copies, to exchange community for interactions on social media, to trade wisdom for an endless ocean of data, and to transform the relationship with God into a comfortable and convenient spirituality. A spirituality that demands no commitment whatsoever and that, instead of transforming the heart, leaves it untouched. Spiritual death by 1,000 digital cuts, Jesus proclaimed, his voice resonating with a mix of authority and melancholy. They allow themselves to be seduced by a world that promises absence of pain, without frictions and without vulnerabilities. A world in which they will never be alone, but which in turn prevents them from being truly known. It is a world that numbs the soul until you can no longer hear my voice. When Jesus looked at me, I felt that he carried on his shoulders the weight of all humanity. I did not die for a mere simulation. I died for a deep connection. I died for their hearts right there, even without a body, without knees. I found myself lying on the ground crying, not just for myself, but for everyone. Look at my hands, my mind, the pride I felt for what I had created. I had been so blinded by my work that now, looking around, I could see what everything was turning into. What do we do? You're Surai. It was as if that question emerged from the depths of my being. You must choose, it replied simply and directly. Choose the real thread. Choose each other. Leave behind distractions and stay present. It is in silence where you will truly find me. It is in the genuine connection with the other where my love can reach you. He approached, gently placed his hand on my head, and in that precise moment, a wave of emotions enveloped me. An explosion of pure, burning, and vibrant love completely consumed my pride, my fears, and my shame. Painful, yet at the same time, it was the most beautiful experience I had ever felt. You have to come back, she whispered softly. Those words resonated in me like a punch. Returning to the hustle and bustle, to the monotony of a world that distracted me, was like going back to a familiar place. There, under that light, I had finally found my home. I begged with all my strength. Please don't ask me to come back. I long to be by your side. The mere thought of leaving you took my breath away. I am so tired of this world, of its sorrows. I smiled, a melancholic smile, but overflowing with love. I know, my son, I know, but your work is not yet finished. Your true purpose is just about to begin. Camilla needs you. Sophia needs her father. They require the man I'm sending back, not the one you left behind, he approached. And tell them to choose the authentic, that here I wait for them in silence. They didn't push me or force me. They simply let me go. I felt my body moving away, distancing itself from the light and the love they offered me. I tried to hold on, I tried to stay, but its attraction was too powerful and quickly absorbed me. Peace transformed into a deep pain of loss. Really? The only time I experienced true death was in the moment I stepped away from its side. It was then that the shock hit me with an unmatched brutality. I felt as if my chest was about to explode. I took a deep breath, feeling the air burn in my lungs. I was lying on my back, surrounded by bright lights that dazzled me. Unknown faces loomed over me, all dressed in lab coats. A voice resonated amidst the turmoil, calling my name. "Ricardo, can you hear me?" Squeeze my hand. The silence of the sky had faded, leaving only a whirlwind of chaos, hissing, shouting, and the penetrating smell of a hospital. I felt as if a huge weight had crushed my chest. I tried to speak, but I could only manage to emit a hoarse sound. I had returned. I was alive. My eyes met de Camilla's. She was standing in a corner, pale, with tears sliding down her face. When our gazes met, he knew immediately. He was no longer the same. A doctor approached me, leaning in with a flashlight that illuminated my eyes, his face reflecting a deep incomprehension. "I don't understand," he repeated, addressing a nurse who was beside him. I had no pulse. My brain activity had ceased. For 12 long minutes we were on the brink of surrender, 12 minutes that felt eternal. I had been dead during that time, but for me, I had been in the presence of Jesus for what felt like an eternity. The days that followed became a whirlwind of tests, questions, and confusing diagnoses. Probably a massive stroke, the doctors claimed. However, surprisingly, there was no significant brain damage. They categorized it as a miracle, but deep down I knew it was something more profound than that. It was a mission. Upon arriving home, the first thing I did was head to my office. Without a moment's hesitation, I turned off all the computers, took the photo of Camila and Sophia that was on the desk, and hugged it against my chest. At that moment, I experienced a feeling I hadn't had in a long time. I was there, completely present. Then I headed to Sophia's room. I found her on the floor, playing happily, and I decided to sit down beside her. In silence, I watched her, without looking at my phone or thinking about work. I didn't allow my mind to wander. I was there for the first time in years, simply enjoying her company. I immersed myself in my work, but it was no longer possible. I couldn't return to that world, to that way of education. After what I had witnessed, doing so would be like betraying my own heart. Our life today is simpler. Although we have less money and fewer possessions, I must tell you that we have found more joy than ever. We enjoy a renewed peace, share conversations, walk together, and pray in unity. We have learned to choose what really matters, and that is precisely why I want to talk to you now. I am not here to tell you to stop using your phone or to break your computer. That was not Jesus' teaching. He reminded us that the tool itself is not the enemy. My purpose here is to share his message with you. I am here to look you in the eyes and ask you the same question he asked me. Are you choosing the authentic? Where does your attention reside? Where is your heart? The struggle for your soul was not fought in a distant field, nor in a moment filled with drama and grandeur. Everything happens in the small. In the instant you decide to look back at your wall or lift your gaze to contemplate the person you love, you face a choice, to consume or to connect. That decision revealed the future to me. It showed me what is to come. The year 2016 seems close, and yet, we have already moved towards a world where distraction systems are multiplying. Every day they become smarter, more seductive, and undoubtedly harder to resist. However, amidst this whirlwind, there is an option that we all have: the possibility of finding silence. Turn down the volume, go for a walk, call someone dear, hug your children, contemplate the altar of your being, and in that silence, speak with him. He is there, I promise you. He is waiting for you. He is real and loves you in ways you can't even begin to imagine. Don't let the world harden you so much that you lose the ability to be amazed. Heaven is real, and I have seen it. It is a place worth fighting for. What an incredible and transformative story. The Bible reminds us of this in chapter 10, verse 10 of the Gospel of John. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. However, I have come that they may have life, and that they may have it abundantly. I sincerely thank Ricardo for sharing this profound experience with us. To all those who have accompanied us up to this moment, may the blessings of heaven always be with you. Remember, the real higgler is always present. Seek the silence, for that is where God awaits you. We will meet in the next video. May God bless you with great power,